Hi, welcome to United, a podcast for change. I am Lori, your host. This is episode 26 that we're going to talk about the E. Jean Carroll versus Donald Trump cases. Um, as always, all opinions are welcome. If you would like to actually join me on screen, there's a link in the video description. Click on that and follow the prompts. It will put you on screen with me. You have your option of either appearing on camera on your end, or if you only want to appear by audio, you can do that as well. Either's fine. If you want to comment in the comment section, that's fine too. But what we're going to do tonight is we are going to talk about the facts and only the facts surrounding these two cases. Um, People are allowed to have their opinions. You can believe that it's a Democrat witch hunt and Trump did nothing wrong. You can believe that E. Jean Carroll is a whack job. Um, but you're allowed. You want to offer that? You're allowed to do that too. Um, it's all fair game. But what we're going to talk about tonight are facts. And while we can have our opinions, facts are the OG F your feelings. They are what they are. So to start off, there are two E. Jean Carroll cases against former President Donald Trump. They are commonly called EG1 or Carroll 1 and Carroll 2. So the first case that was filed, it was filed in November of 2019 when Trump was still president. And the second one was filed in November of 2022. So the 2019 case is Carroll 1. The 2022 case is Carroll 2. And it's fun because they get a little flipped because the trial that's going on now is actually the Carroll 1 case. So it's the 2019 case that's being heard now in trial. The second case was completed last year. So, fact one. E. Jean Carroll wrote a book. In that book, she included a passage that described being sexually assaulted by then businessman Donald Trump in like the mid 1990s. And because now the president, that bit of the book got a little traction. And E. Jean Carroll did a couple interviews. It got some news coverage. And Trump came out at the time. I don't know this woman. I never met this woman. I didn't touch her. I didn't do anything to her. So it's a hoax. She's crazy. She's nuts. He said a lot of things about her and about the claims that she put in the book. That's a fact. Whether she's truth, he's truth, the fact that she claimed this in a book, that's a fact. The fact that he talks shit about her and her claim, that's also a fact. What's it called? So in 2019, after he made these claims, she filed suit. It ended up being a federal lawsuit. DOJ got involved because he was the sitting president. She was suing the sitting president in a civil case, much like Paula Jones versus Bill Clinton. Civil case against the sitting president. DOJ got involved. It ended up over in federal court before Judge KAPLAN, who still has it. And jury trial. And then, there were delays with COVID, with different filings, all sorts of things that have delayed the case to where the trial is happening now. In 2022, because of the Me Too movement, New York came out with a law called the Adult Survivors Act. And that allowed people who were survivors of sexual abuse, it gave them 1 year to put up or shut up. That if if you had if you were assaulted, then you get to bring a lawsuit. Basically did away with the statute of limitations. And so in 2022, under this law, because he continued to defame her and run his mouth and make these claims, she filed a second lawsuit. And that lawsuit was for defamation and battery. And within that battery were rape, sexual abuse, sexual misconduct, forcible touching. That went to trial last year in May of last year. And Trump had the opportunity, was also a jury trial. Trump had the opportunity to appear. He had the opportunity to give testimony. He's no longer the president, so he's got free time. And the fact is that he didn't show up. His attorney was there, or attorneys. He wasn't. He didn't appear. He didn't testify. He didn't offer anything to refute E. Jean Carroll's testimony. Through the Carroll 2 trial, she went through her testimony again and her claims that he sexually assaulted her in Bergdorf Goodman, which is a department store in New York, very high-end department store in New York. There were 2 what's called outcry witnesses. And that just means that it's people that you told, at or around the time that an assault happened. And so it was established that the assault happened in 1996. On a, and this is opinion, rape victims come in all shapes and sizes. Rape affects women differently. And rape isn't only some stranger grabbing you off the street and violently, beating you, knife to your throat, gun to your face. Like that's not the only definition of rape or sexual assault. Rape in its simplest definition is someone putting a part of their body, forcibly putting a part of their body or an object into a part of your body. At the simplest definition. It's not external. It's not, it's not like copping a feel where, you're grabbing, but if you stop to think about it, copping a feel is a form of sexual assault. If you're just, grabbing ass or grabbing a woman's chest, you know, without her permission, that's sexual assault. Like you forced your will upon her. You decided you were going to do this and you did it. That's, it's she didn't consent. Um, and we're not even going to get into what I believe because it doesn't matter. Truth doesn't care about my feelings either. So, trial on Carroll 2 was April and May of last year. And in that case, the jury unanimously found that former President Trump sexually assaulted her, sexually battered her. And because they found that, they also found that his claims that he'd never met her, that he didn't touch her, that it was a hoax, all the shit talking he was doing, they found that Trump was lying. And with those lies, he defamed her. That's the truth. That's what the jury found. No one has to like it. No one has to agree with it, but that is what the jury found in the Carroll 2 case. And in that case, she was awarded, cumulatively like $5 million in damages. Now, because of that case, because in Carroll 2, the jury found that Trump assaulted E. Jean Carroll, because they found that he lied about not assaulting her, because his statements were defamatory. Well, now we're coming around and we're circling back to the Carroll 1 case. And the Carroll 1 case, which is going to trial now, same judge, different jury, but same judge. The judge has already ruled that it's been established that he sexually assaulted her. So they can't do that. He can't argue that now. That's not my opinion. That is a fact. The judge ruled that it's not up for debate anymore. Like, you had your chance to appear and testify and refute the claims, and you didn't do that. So now a jury found you liable. We're not going backwards. That's, I mean, yeah, I'm paraphrasing. I'm putting it in, layman's terms. It's still a fact. It is still the truth. So because he's already been found to have defamed her, to have sexually assaulted her, this trial that's going on now, it's really just to determine damages. And, and just to point out, trial is actually postponed until Thursday. Trump was supposed to testify on Monday, and then one of the jurors was sick, thought it was COVID. Alina Habba said she wasn't feeling well either. Her parents had COVID. So the judge canceled court on Monday. And then Alina Habba requested that the case be postponed until at least Wednesday, because Trump has, the New Hampshire primaries today. And he was going to be up in New Hampshire, so he's not available to testify. So the judge has postponed it out until Thursday. Alina Habba is representing that Trump is going to testify. Whether he does or not, we will find out on Thursday when they go to court. But this case, which is Carroll 1, it was the case that was filed in 2019. So it's the earlier case. It's really just to determine damages. It's just to determine how much Trump has to pay her. And so whether or not anyone, you don't have to believe her. You don't have to believe Trump. It doesn't matter what anybody believes. He was found liable. Yes, he's appealing, but as of right now, he was found liable by a jury in the Carroll 2 case. So he can't argue in this case. And that's not anti-Trump. It's not some Trump-hating judge. It's the rules of the court. And it's the rules of just how court cases are processed and held and put together. Trump's team can argue that they should be able to say whatever they want and bring this information in. But then once a judge rules, that's it. That's not my opinion. That's how it goes. The judges issue rulings. And if, you don't like them, some of them you can appeal. Some of them you can appeal right then and there. It's called an interlocutory appeal. Most times you have to wait until either the judge issues a verdict or a jury issues a verdict. You have to wait until judgment is entered before you can appeal, because then you're appealing the judgment, which looks at everything. I've seen Eugene Carroll said rape was sexy. No, she actually didn't. In that Anderson Cooper interview, which is where this little kernel comes from, Anderson Cooper was talking about, rape, and what she said was, some people, because of fantasies and the like, think that rape is sexy. She didn't say that she thought it was sexy. That's the truth. Was there a sentence that she uttered that involved the words rape and sexy? Yes. Did she say, I think rape is sexy? No. She said some people, because of fantasies and the like, think that rape is sexy. She went on to further say that she didn't think that. It just hurt. The Trump says, I never met her. The picture, the black and white picture that's in the thumbnail for this video, is a picture of Trump meeting Eugene Carroll. That's a fact. Like it, don't like it, doesn't matter. Did they meet? Yes. Did she claim they were besties? No. Did she claim that they move in the same circles? And no. Talk on the phone? No. She knew who he was at the time in the 90s because, he was a big businessman in New York. I live in New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey. I've known who Trump is since the 80s because he was a big businessman in New York. Never met him. But he can't say that he didn't meet her because there's photo evidence that he met her. She's not my type. Funny story. When he was being deposed in relation to this case, he was shown that black and white picture. And he was asked to identify who was in that picture. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, look it up. Search Trump, Eugene Carroll, deposition, Marla. Because in the deposition, he was asked to identify who was in that picture. And on the right side, she's kind of cut off, but on the right side is Ivana Trump, who he was married to at the time that the picture was taken. Trump is on the left. It's a view from the back of him. And the woman on the left facing him, he said that that was Marla, that that was his second wife. And the attorneys asking the questions had to point out to him in the deposition that, no, that wasn't Marla. That's E. Jean Carroll. And, so for him to say that she's not his type, I mean, maybe not now when she's 80, but for him to say that, to confuse E. Jean Carroll, an old picture of E. Jean Carroll with his second wife, it could be argued that someone that looks like his second wife might be his type or might have been his type. So, but in any event, like a jury has already found that they don't believe him, that they believe her. No, her claims are bullshit. Okay. I would ask anyone that is claiming that her allegations are bullshit, just in general, whether it's Trump, not Trump, somebody else, whatever. What kind of evidence is a woman supposed to have when she's been raped or sexually assaulted? You know, just generally what evidence? If an attack wasn't violent and she doesn't have a bruise on her, does that mean the attack didn't happen? If he didn't leave any fluids on her, does that mean it didn't happen? She doesn't have finger marks on her arms or redness around certain areas. Does that mean it didn't happen? If her clothes weren't torn, does it mean it didn't happen? What evidence is a woman supposed to have when she claims that she's been raped? How much is she supposed to remember? Is she supposed to just, have the presence of mind to, have a photographic or an eidetic memory about, at 3 minutes and 32 seconds into the attack, his left hand was approximately 4 inches down on my right arm. Like, what evidence is a woman supposed to have? Is it only rape if she reports it to the police? Is it only rape if she reports it to the police immediately and immediately goes to, the hospital for a rape kit? Is it only rape then? Does she have to, if she doesn't scream, if she doesn't shout no, if she doesn't fight back, if she freezes, she wasn't raped? Does she have to have his skin under her fingernails to show that she fought? Does there need to be video evidence? Does there need to be, or audio evidence or photographic evidence? What evidence does a woman need to have to prove rape? And if she's missing even one of those things, does that mean that the rape didn't happen? And my opinion, rape, any crime, isn't just whether you can prove it in a court of law. Did O.J. Simpson kill his ex-wife? After trial and all of that. I mean, I remember the O.J. Simpson trial. Like, he was found not guilty. Does that mean he didn't kill her? It just means it couldn't have been proved. She's still dead. Her friend, they're both still dead. Just because a woman doesn't have this perfect, box of evidence doesn't mean that she was not raped. It doesn't mean she was not assaulted. Oh, There's no video, security video showing Trump in front of Bergdorf Goodman's or inside Bergdorf Goodman's. This is one of the sillier claims that I've heard. And again, this is my opinion. What business, and I just want people to think about, hi, Chris, I fucking love you, my brother. What business, any business, has security tapes? Think about security cameras from the mid to late 90s. What kind were they? What did they record on? How often, like how long were they stored? Does anyone really think that Bergdorf Goodman has most likely ratty old VHS tapes from the entirety of 1996? Like, that's nuts. And Chris, whom I love, has a great comment. Too many women are scared and don't move, fight, or scream just so it will be over with. And I'm sure it is traumatic. It will take more than a day to report if she was raped. Everyone is different. Everyone is different. When it happened to me, I was 17, and it was right at my high school graduation. I was at a graduation party, and my boyfriend at the time, first love, didn't like the fact that I was at a party. So he found a couple female friends of his and drove by the house because I was at the party was at a friend's house. And I waited about 10 minutes because this was 1987. It was before cell phones. So I waited about 10 minutes because he lived about 10 minutes away. And I called. One of the girls answered the phone and said that she was his girlfriend now. I was 17. So for the rest of the evening, I proceeded to drink my face off. And while I didn't know everyone at the party, I knew most of the people at the party. There were people that I'd gone to school with, you know, or friends of like my friend's younger sister. Um, were we all underage drinking? Yep. Is that against the law? Yep. Did I deserve to be raped because I was drunk at a party? By a member of the football team? And, as it was happening, I can remember what I was wearing. Teal panties, white bra, if anybody's interested. Um, I can remember what the room looked like. There was a flower pattern wallpaper, and then more flowers in the bedspreads on the 2-day beds. One, when you opened the door, opened in this way, and there was a bed going on this wall and a bed going on this wall. And the only light came from like a bay window facing the street. And I said, no. I said, get out. And he was like, nah. And he grabbed me by the arm and he threw me down. I was sitting on one day bed and then tried standing up, stumbling, drunk off my face. I tried pulling my arm away, and I couldn't break his grip, and he threw me onto the other bed and raped me. And I remember just being like, is this really happening? And no. Like this isn't real. He didn't punch me, it wasn't violent. It was over quickly. But I remember blaming myself. You idiot. Why did you get so drunk? I couldn't fight him. I couldn't coordinate. I was so drunk that I could not coordinate my hands to move with any degree of strength to fight him. And I tried. And I blamed myself. And he was on the football team. And I knew. This is 1987. Date rape wasn't even really a thing at the time. It was only rape if it was a stranger, preferably of a different skin color, and it was violent, and you were pulled off the street. I knew who this guy was. We went to school together. And so I knew my own mother would call me a slut. I knew my own mother would blame me. I knew that there was going to be no recourse for me in the courts. Good looking guy on the football team? Nah. So I didn't report. Doesn't mean I wasn't raped. But do I still have the underwear? Did I stop to take fluid samples? No. He didn't hit me. He didn't bruise me. Even when he grabbed my wrist, it didn't leave any marks. What would my proof have been at the time? And what would have been used against me? Well, you were drunk at a party, drinking when you shouldn't have been drinking because you were underage. And, so if people don't have to believe E. Jean Carroll, just in the general day-to-day. But the fact is, a jury did. The jury in her last case, they believe her. She presented her own testimony. She brought 2 outcry witnesses, people that she told at the time of what happened. Not 20 years later, oh, I told so-and-so. It's she told them at the time that it happened. And that goes to credibility when you don't have physical evidence. And, so we're going to see if Trump takes the stand. This judge, federal court is a lot stricter than state court, and not that state court's a free-for-all, but federal court, as you move up into the different layers of court, it becomes more and more formal. And they become tighter to the rules. Where you might get away with a little, don't do that, if there's an outburst in state court. Federal court or appellate court, you're supposed to be on church behavior when you are in court in general. So no one should be surprised for Trump to decide at the last minute that he is not going to testify. No one should be surprised for Trump to be denied the stunt that he pulled in the New York fraud case before Judge Engoron, where he got to address the court during closing. That's not a thing. If you're represented by an attorney, your attorney speaks for you. Your attorney gives closing arguments. He had the chance in the New York fraud case to testify when he only appeared for the plaintiff's case, for the state's case. Because each side puts on, it's called the case in chief. The prosecution puts on their side, and then the defense puts on, if they choose to, because the defense doesn't have to, because prosecution has to be proven. But if you choose to, you can also testify there. So he had the opportunity in that case that he attended pretty much every day. He had the opportunity to get up on the stand in his and his company's defense, and he chose not to. But then he was allowed by the judge to, you know, offer a brief statement during closing, which this judge, Judge Kaplan, federal judge, no one should be surprised if Trump or his attorneys ask for that. No one should be surprised for the judge to say no. It's not anti-Trump. It's not Trump hating. It's something that isn't done. You know, it's one thing if you're not represented, if you don't have attorneys, then yes, you are appearing what's called pro se. It's 2 words, PROSE, 2 words. And it just means that you are like, you're there, you're doing it yourself. So yeah, if you are a pro se defendant, you don't have an attorney representing you, yes, you give your own closing arguments because it's all you. When you are represented by an attorney, that's their job. You know, and that's generally because, here's my opinion, that normally, you know, average people, they don't know how court works. They don't know case law off the top of their head. They don't know the different laws and, you know, standards of proof and what's rules of evidence. It's what attorneys are for. Can a pro se defendant learn all that stuff? Sure. People in prison do it all the time. They read through, you know, law books and they learn how to file cases, you know, in their own defense and different appeals. They learn. Is it learnable? Absolutely. At the same time, you know, if you've got an attorney, you use them because they're supposed to know better than you. So don't expect the judge to let Trump speak during closing, especially if he doesn't choose to testify on Thursday. For this court, there's no court on Fridays. So if this case doesn't finish up on Thursday, then it'll go into next week. This judge is a stickler. He is a stickler for the rules of evidence. He is a stickler on acting the way you're supposed to act in court. And if you don't, he's going to call you out. If you try to pull some bullshit in, you know, direct questioning or cross-examination, he will call you out. He will stop you mid-sentence. Judges are allowed to do that. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. Judges have control over their courtrooms. You know, and in the Carroll 1 case that's going on now, she is asking for $10 million in like compensatory damages. And compensatory means to compensate. It's, you know, you broke my window and it cost me, you were negligent in breaking my window. And it cost me $800 to buy a new window. And then I had to take a day off of work and that cost me $100 or whatever, you know, but let's say that the total money that I put out to fix my window that you broke was $1,000. Now you won't pay me. So now I have to take you to court. And when I file in court, well, I'm going to ask for compensatory damages in the amount of $1,000. Plus, if I had to hire an attorney, I'm asking for attorney's fees too. But the compensatory, it's I want you to pay me back the $1,000 that I put out. With defamation, it's how much did you damage me? How much have I lost in income and reputation? And she's got to prove that. So if she proves that, well, and even if she proves it, the jury may award 10 million in compensatory. They might say, you know what? You're 80 years old. What kind of job opportunities do you really have at this point? How much income are we really talking? And they can award less than that. Um, and then she's also seeking punitive damages. Punitive is punishment. It's, as her attorney said in the opening statements, how much money is it going to take to get him to stop? Because all Trump has to do is stop talking about her. That's all he's got to do. Or he can phrase it as, well, we know what the jury found in the trial last year, but we're appealing that decision, and we're waiting on that. He's still talking about the case, but he's not defaming anyone. He's not talking shit. He's presenting facts. He's presenting reasonable statements. No, First Amendment. We don't have the First Amendment right to use our words to damage someone. And that's not my opinion. That is a fact. If we did, defamation wouldn't be a thing. Libel wouldn't be a thing. Slander wouldn't be a thing. All crimes, or the majority of crimes, at least, they can include speech. If two people are going to go rob a bank, they've talked about it. That's speech. You can't say that, like, oh, well, that was just free speech. I can talk about robbing a bank and actually make plans and then go rob that bank. That's not conspiracy. Conspiracy includes speech. It does. Whether we like the words or not, whether we like the way the law is written or not, these are things. And so I mean, we could have there could be a jury verdict Thursday or sometime next week if this case wraps up on Thursday. Well, we're all finding out together. And we'll find out on Thursday whether he takes the stand. I don't think he's going to, because he's not going to be able to argue the things that he wants to argue. This judge is not going to let him go up on the stand and try to claim this is a hoax. It's not a hoax. These are real cases filed in real courts with real claims. Whether you believe the claims or not doesn't matter, because a jury already ruled and issued a verdict that they believe the claims. And that's how our system is based. We can say, I think the jury got it wrong. Cool. But in a court of law, we have to go by what's already happened in the court. There's an argument when it comes to summary judgment motions that, like the judge already found me guilty. One, there's no guilt in a civil trial. There's liability, or somebody was found liable. And summary judgment motions, the whole purpose of a summary judgment motion is to streamline what the trial is going to be about. What issues? You can take it from this and bring it down to this, so that you're not arguing every single little thing. If I'm suing somebody for breaking my window and I have Ring camera video showing them breaking my window, and then text messages or emails of us going back and forth, you broke my window, I'm not paying for it, and I'm presenting all that, and I have just overwhelming evidence showing that I'm right. because that's all court cases are. It is one side or each side saying, I'm right, they're wrong, give me what I want, okay, thanks, bye. That's all court cases are. So if I have overwhelming evidence, irrefutable, that I'm presenting, then it's then the fact that my neighbor broke my window, it's really not a fact, a material fact in dispute, because who broke my window is a material fact. And if I can show that before we even get into into a trial, I'm going to do it through a summary judgment motion, and I'm going to say, Judge, here's this damn video, or I was standing right there when they did it. I visually saw them. Here's my backup video. If you can prove through just your evidence that you're going to win, well, then the judge is most likely going to be like, well, yeah, we can summary judgment. Neighbor broke your window. And now all we're going to talk about is how much did it cost? Where are your proofs that you had to take time off of work? And it's going to streamline what is actually disputed. Because trials aren't necessarily about the entirety of an event or a crime. It's what's in dispute. What do I need to prove? And we got Chris. I'm getting the feeling he won't take the stand either. I think it is too big of a risk, even if he has been, quote, civil up till now, if I'm understanding all of this correctly. You are, in my opinion. It's he's going to want to get up there and say whatever he wants to say. And the judges can be like, no, that's not how this works, because that's not how it works. It's just not. Go into any courtroom where a defendant is testifying, any courtroom, and you aren't going to see defendants getting away with the things that Trump is trying to pull. It if he takes the stand, it's going to be the judge doing a lot of jury you will disregard, because he can't argue that he didn't assault her. Judge has already ruled on that. Trump cannot argue that. His defense cannot argue that. They can't bring up, E. Jean Carroll, how many people have you had sex with in your entire life? You can't bring that up in a rape trial anyway, because it's got nothing to do with anything. Because porn actresses can be raped. Prostitutes can be raped. It's not about the number of people that you consented to. It's about being forced to your body being used. No. Got nothing to do with it. Alina Habba, I think she should be taking this time, and this again is an opinion. And I only keep pointing out that it's an opinion, because I made a comment to one of the people replying on another video, because in an interview, Alina Habba brought up this, this story where she was asked whether she would rather be pretty or smart. And she was like, easy, pretty. I can fake being smart. And someone had commented about, it seems like she's faking being intelligent. And I replied jokingly with, well, I think that's the plan, faking being intelligent, because, she'd rather be pretty. Was I saying that Alina Habba said that she had a plan, that she was going to fake being smart? No. That wasn't what I was saying. Someone took it that way, that I was trying to represent, that I said, Alina Habba said, um, we worked it out. Me and the person that was commenting, because I welcome all comments, all feedback. But I want to, and yes, the title of this is about the truth. So where I'm talking about facts, I'm going to specify that this is a fact. Whether I or anyone else likes it or not, it's a fact. Where I'm using my opinion, I'm going to differentiate and say that this is my opinion. Um, Anything that I've said that has to do with the law or court should not be taken as legal advice, because I'm not an attorney. I just have 24 years experience as a civil litigation paralegal. I've been in court. I have been a corporate representative and appeared as a witness in court on different cases. So when I speak about court, it's based on just general knowledge or past experience. I'm not giving any legal advice. But if anybody has any questions about the E. Jean Carroll case, I do plan on doing, only because they can get so convoluted and so complex. I do plan on doing videos on each of the Trump trials. The biggies, the business fraud that's going on now. Well, that finished up. We're just waiting for the judge's ruling. The DC case, the Florida case, the Georgia case, in general, the claims of presidential immunity that he's making, which are bullshit, in my opinion. The Colorado and Maine cases, where he's been determined to be ineligible to be on their ballot. I plan on doing separate videos for those, because trying to do it in one, we'll be here all night. If there's anything that anybody has questions about, or if there are topics that you would like to see, feel free to put it in a comment. I'm equal opportunity. So, I'm going to be doing videos or lives on, the impeachment inquiry against Biden. What happened with what's going on with the federal government in Texas and the border, and the recent, the Supreme Court. I don't really want to say the Supreme Court order, because it really wasn't like an opinion. There was nothing really of substance, or at least not yet. So there's going to be all different kinds of upcoming videos. If there's something that you want to see specifically, just let me know. I was accused earlier today of promoting propaganda. I disagree. The facts, like I said, it's the OG F your feelings. The truth is what it is. It doesn't care how anybody feels about it. The truth doesn't even require that you believe it for it to still be the truth. And when I said, like, no, nope, not a bot. Sorry. I'm American. My 3/4 of my grandparent or my great grandparents were immigrants in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and my father's side, and then it just all branches out. That goes back in this country to not only the Continental Army. I have ancestors that were in the Continental Army. It goes back to like the late 1650s when my English ancestors came over. So I have one big branch of my family tree that has been in America before there was an America. Um, so I'm not a bot. I'm not. And while two of my great grandparents did come from Ukraine, I'm not Russian. I'm not a Russian plant. No China plant. I'm I'm not working with any groups, whether they are pro Trump or pro Biden or anything like that. I'm not affiliated with anyone. This channel is not monetized, so I'm not making any money off of this. Uh, I had the opportunity to kind of figure out and decide what I wanted to be when I grew up, um, or what I wanted to do for the rest, with the rest of the life that I have. And I realized that, when I was younger, I had a very creative side and I would do a lot of creative things. And in the decades of working for the man and always making the practical choice, that creative side kind of got left to the wayside. And I really took like a look at just the way that everybody is just fighting, that we're not talking to each other anymore, that it's, somebody makes a comment and you've got our group coming in response, like with a hammer, just nailing people, the name calling, just the shittiness, which it breeds negativity and just the divide. And that's over just nonsense. It's and there's a saying that one person can make a difference. And I wanted to see, because I am not only am I a glass half full person, I am a grateful there's something in the glass person. I am an excellent listener, always there for anyone, including perfect strangers, with a shoulder or an ear to listen. It's who I am. It's who I choose to be. So, in the spirit of one person can make a difference, I wanted to see what kind of difference this one person could make, you know, and with the TikTok and all the other, social media and the videos and creators, and, you know, I wanted to see, and I wanted to see if I could, you know, work up a community, build a community of people just like me. And by just like me, I mean average Americans. I'm not I'm not a richie rich. Um I didn't go to Ivy League. I got my associates of applied science degree from a community college. Um I'm just like everybody else, but I wanted to see, because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any creators that are trying to bridge the gap, that are trying to remind people that we are all Americans and that we are better together. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. I believe in that. Um, we collectively as a society used to believe in that. It's one of my, favorite isn't the right word, but I don't know how else to describe it. But one of my favorite things about being an American was that we were at our best when somebody somewhere in this country was dealing with the worst. That we rooted for each other. That if there was some natural disaster going on somewhere in the country, that we lined up. What do they need? And we've kind of gotten away from that. It's turned from what do they need to, well, why should I help? And that's societally, as a country, in my opinion, we're going the wrong way. Um, and I just wanted to see, can I make a difference? Can I bring some positivity? Can I get two people who believe the polar opposite of each other? Can I get them to have a civil conversation? And yeah, there's a lot. I do a lot of videos about Trump. And I'm a Democrat. But I try to be fair. Like I'm not, there are things that I'm not going to cover where, if somebody's, with cognitive decline and, oh, this one's muttering this and this one's muttering that. That kind of thing I'm not going to cover here because it's nonsense, to a degree it's nonsense. Um, if there are genuine medical issues with anyone running for president or as president, well then yes, as the American public, we should know that. Um, but I'm not going to just disparage I'm not going to talk shit. That's not who I am. Um, whether it's against Trump, for Trump, against Biden, for Biden, like I'm really, yes, I am a Democrat. Yes, I have a lot of liberal views, but I also do have some conservative views on certain topics. I'm all about fair, and wherever that puts me on the political spectrum, I'm okay with. Um, but I'm not a bot. I'm not working with any groups. I don't think I would, um, because this is my channel that I created, and I don't want to be under anyone else's control or input. Yes, obviously I'm using, the YouTube platform. So I am bound by their community guidelines and that sorts of things and terms of service and, blah, blah. But as far as having a partner or, being part of some whatever, or that's even sponsorships. Like I'm really not looking at sponsorships, um, because if it's not a product I'm going to use, no. And then you can run into, oh, well, you know what? Like this company that makes these tumblers, like they want to sponsor you, but they don't. They want you to talk about this from this angle. No, um, I'm going to present things from the side of fairness, no matter what the topic is. Um, so if anybody has questions, uh, topics you want to see covered, holler at me. Let me know. I'm all about, you know, covering the things that people want to see. Um, yeah, Chris is killing it. You are fucking killing it with the comments. And I'm sorry, Chris, for not dropping more F-bombs. I know you appreciate when I do that. um, and for people that are watching, Chris is my friend. So, and we curse a lot when we talk to each other. So, I'm trying to keep it a little bit cleaner, but just a little. Um, Chris says the hate is out of control. Look at any app and you will see a positive comment with negative comments, or a positive post with negative comments. If we met that keyboard warrior in person, would they say what they typed out loud? Highly doubt it. And I'm Gen X. I know for me, I don't type anything in response to someone I wouldn't say to their face. Because I come from the time where if you had something to say, you said it to somebody's face. Because if you didn't, if you went around and talked shit about someone behind their back and it got back to them, they were coming to get in your face. What did you say about me? Um, I am hardcore Gen X. So I've carried that, into this new technology with the internet and apps and everything else. But yeah, I firmly believe, yeah, there are a lot of people that, it's keyboard warrior and then they run. Um, and depending upon what they say, like I tend to laugh at them, um, because they make me giggle because it's, you know what, like I'm 5'4.5" female. I'm 54 years old. Um, you're gonna type and then run. Come on. Um, but there's a lot of hate, and I just I wanted to see I want to see what I can do. So, in these past couple weeks, the subscriber count for the channel has like gone nuts. Um, you know, not viral, which that's fine. Slow and steady wins the race. So, but the subscriber count has really grown considerably over the past couple weeks, which I'm loving. I appreciate everybody that likes, comments, subscribes, engages in any way, because then that just tells the algorithm that people want to see this content, um, which makes me very happy. It gives me a feeling of satisfaction, um, and just the warm fuzzies, uh, to see that the little amateur shorts videos and the live streams that, I have a general outline, but a lot of it is just off the cuff because I want to be real, or as real as I can, um, because I think that's important. I don't want to be crazy scripted and and that sort of thing. I try to be the who I am in every interaction with every person that I come across. Um, and I want that to carry through on this channel as well. Um, so that's all there is so far on the E. Jean Carroll cases. We'll know more on Thursday. Um, questions, comments? Hi, and welcome to everybody that catches this either live or on the replay. You're all welcome. Um, but on that note, I'm going to call it an evening. And as Chris and my favorite band likes to say, until next time.